Ooh, that transition. I'm hyped.
That was top draw.
Oh, we've seen it yesterday.
Wait, I'm a little...
Get you ahead of the game.
Oh, sorry. Should we?
welcome
We
to
are
Q&A,
quite
guys.
tough, aren't we?
Okay.
Move up, Rock.
Joining us today, we have Mod Rock,
Hiya.
Mod Ed,
Hello.
Mod Kieran,
Hello.
Mod Ash,
Hello.
myself, Mod Archie, and Mod Ghost is over there designing the, I'm not going to call it the new Fire Cape, that's not what it is.
No, we were not going to say that on stream.
I'm going to call it the Infernal Cape because I believe that's the name that we've decided on. It's coming from the Inferno, so Infernal Cape makes sense. Mod Ghost would like a little feedback from you guys, so he's going to be designing that through and throughout. Every 15 minutes or so, we'll cut over to him and you guys can give your feedback and he will design along. So, that being said, let's get into the questions. First one's from Shinchan, who says, can the Cosmic Altar shortcut be addressed? The higher level one is slower than the lower level one.
Yeah, I think we said we'd be willing to take out one of the two things. Crevices? One of its two things. It's got two of them. It could have one of them. That would probably...
It's like a squeeze-through wall thing, isn't it?
That's the word.
Squeeze-through crack or something.
Technical term.
With the big spiky thing that comes out at you.
And would you like to see that pulled or just done?
I'd be inclined to pull it because why not?
Okay.
If there's no
Good
reason
enough
for it to
reason
fail,
for
then we may as well pull.
All right. Halbro says, will we see the Elite Void Gloves pulled soon? It was brought up a couple months ago. We said we liked it. The only controversial thing here is it adds +2 more prayer bonus. Is that game changing?
That would take it 8 to 10 for the full set, I think.
6 to 8 total, I believe.
2 prayer going to make much of a difference, seeing as we've already done things like the things that now go in the quiver slot, the blessings and other stuff, and the buff to the Ring of the Gods. It's
2 ain't a lot, and also there isn't a prayer bonus on white gloves, is there?
not that
Don't
I'm
think so.
aware of.
In that case, no, that would be neither.
I don't know. Depends if people are happy with where like Void is already. It is already fairly powerful.
I think it's more the concern of the cosmetic appearance, just having the gloves match the rest of the kit.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd be happy to offer just elite gloves to match the set, but don't have any extra benefit.
All right.
If that's what they want it for.
Next question is from Jake. He says, please rework the Jimanua's Jungle Store, the Karamja Jungle Store. Brings unnecessary amount of gold into the game, severely nerf it, or remove the diary reward associated with it completely. So I spoke to Modweth about this, and he says, I think people, well, he was kind of agreeing with me, I think people are well exaggerating how big a deal this is.
In my opinion, the Battle Staff reward from the Varrock Diary has more impact than this shop.
Right.
Like, it's a very minimal impact, but based on the perception, I'm more than happy to actually offer something different. I mean, I don't know what in particular, unless you guys have got any ideas for an alternative hard reward.
One suggestion that was sent in was to take the noted bars from those Karamja
Yes,
dragons.
quite a few people wanted that lowering
We
because
downgrade that one to hard and
Yeah.
upgrade the diary shop, that shop thing to elite. At which point the thing still exists, but for only people with a lot higher stats. Who they presumably were those people, the ones making this request.
That would lock it behind 91 rune crafting, so there would be a lot less people using it. Would people be happy with that?
The thing is, it already requires the hard Karamja Diary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't something people are botting. Modweth is talking to me about this, but that being said, I'm going to speak to the data guys and have them look into it and see just how big of a deal, because the claim is, I think, that it's causing the nature rune crash and what have you. So we'll look into it for sure, and if that is the case, then happily I think we can definitely reconsider some stuff, and if not, then we'll come back and let you guys know what happened.
I think there's other factors that affect the price of nature runes.
Yeah. Okay. Stab says, will you need Zeah favor for raids?
Nope.
Quick. Any reasoning behind that? Just
So if we're going to go ahead with some preliminary content that would just unlock some benefits, that might have a favor requirement attached to it, but we want people to just be able to go into raids.
It's not like when you're, trying to get a favour by using a shop on Zeah and they actually don't want to trade with you unless they like you, or trying to use their facilities to train in and they don't want to let you train there unless they like you. This is a whopping great big dark cave, and what you go and do in there is your own business, whether they like you or not.
I mean, the favour system is inherently attached to Great Korend rather than
The whole
Zeah. It's not a Zeah thing, it's a Great Korend thing.
certainly on the Shazian battlefields where they're fighting the lizard men, they don't want random people wandering around unless they know you and trust you. But this is not so much your their battlefield. This is a great big dark cave, and they're not necessarily going in there with you in the first place.
No.
In fact, at the moment, I don't think we've got any content where they go in there with you. So, if they like you, they might be more inclined to dissuade you from going in the dark, scary cave. Yeah.
All right. Faux Freedom says, when you first released holiday items into Old School, they were randomly spawned around the world, and players had to hunt for them. Remember that? That was a ton of fun. Thoughts on reintroducing this? It's much more enjoyable.
We do elements of this at the holiday events as well as the event. So like last Christmas. What? I always sit in this spot. My arm is wet. Okay.
Play it cool. Pretend it never happened.
Minor
no one
distractions
noticed.
gone.
Must have been the swimming pool.
So like last Christmas, we did a full holiday event with the with Anti Santa and the children in Varrock. And despite that, we still did events where we went around on our JMod accounts, we spawned party hats in places for people to come and pick up. So we do elements of that.
What do you think about just a separate event on its own without other forms of spawning? I guess it kind of needs a reason, doesn't it?
I mean, you're suggesting just some event where the things are
Yeah,
turned up.
just a weekend maybe where they would spawn around and you had to go hunting for them.
Certainly can, although rather than being completely random places, having it be somewhere that people could hunt down based on clues they were solving that we'd maybe put out on Twitter or shared on the forums or something, it gave them something slightly more like they were solving it rather than just stumbling across a random thing up a random staircase in a random place.
We can do crack the clue too.
We can give very, very subtle. I think it was Little Mo when we introduced him. We said like he was just by a tree and they found him in 5 minutes.
Little Mo did tell you
Wasn't it Big Mo?
No, Little Mo told you to go and take his package to that man who stands by that tree sometimes.
That man that stands by the tree, and they had it like right away. So I think we could get away with giving you guys some odd little tips like that. That's cool. Okay.
That was a pretty odd little tip.
Next question. Ree says, with the dragon plate removed from raids, will it ever be offered again in the future? Maybe with a quest.
I mean, we don't have any actual ideas right now, but we want to do it.
Dragon Slayer 2.
That's been suggested. It's pretty high on Reddit
The
right now.
return of Elvarg, yeah.
Yes.
He gets his head back.
I mean, there's something awesome about just a quest of all about slaying a dragon. So
It's very RuneScape.
yeah,
Very.
We can do it.
but no, I don't want a quest about giving Elvarg head.
No.
Moving on.
Nobody wants that.
Please no.
I think last time when we first talked about the dragon plate, and we were suggesting, well, you want a dragon plate, we've got some Slayer monsters, how about we have the Slayer monsters drop the dragon plate? The answer was, no, that's stupid. Dragon plates don't come from Slayer, they come from quests. So this makes a lot more sense.
All right, moving on. Flame says, can the quest
He's
can
weird.
the quest cape get a unique teleport animation, please? Saying the Artie cape, Lumby Diary ring, Monkey Madness 2 pod, all get their own animations. Why not the quest cape?
I can sense Gareth from the back of the room just thinking,
Do you want to make
please
another
no.
teleport animation, Mod Ghost?
We could do it. It just depends what the priorities for the next few months are, really. I think we've got quite a lot of big updates coming up soon, so I think it's better we just focus on those for the meantime.
Right.
Maybe as a quality of life job we could fit it in, but I'd probably see things of more value than just the quest cape.
When our artists maybe have some free time, which is definitely after raids. and
Yeah,
other
right
stuff.
now. So right now, Mod West is working on the Wintertodt. After that, Mod West will be working on the Zeah map to improve that. Mod Ghost is currently working on raids, so they are very, very busy.
Yeah, Mod
and
lazy.
for the simple fact of replacing an animation that isn't really adding any new content, it's maybe not the best use of time.
Unless we could adapt some existing animation and make it a teleport animation in a way that wasn't ever intended. We've done quite well for recycling animations without it being too obvious that we've done it. Like Necromancy, when you resurrect the ensouled heads, the animation for that, I nicked out a Tower of Life from some obscure bit of the quest, and I think we got away with it because people don't go there all the time.
Not anymore.
Well, no. And then the trident casting animation, we didn't
That's
have any
my
animations for that
favourite.
at all.
That one, yeah.
So that's taken from the kind of scarabee creatures down under contact. They shoot those all the time, but those are black shadowy things rather than the blue shadowy thing.
Do you know an animation I don't think we've reused is the wise old man's Sarah Strike, or whatever he uses?
He uses Saradomin Strike quite a lot, but it's a player's Saradomin Strike because I didn't have a graphic budget there neither.
Doesn't he have a different attack animation when he robs the bank?
Oh, he does at one point make the whole wall explode with some strange swirly thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Very much.
Right. Okay, let's go on. Let's see, next question is from Calvino, says, yo, can you release the rates for obtaining clue nests and geodes? It's a copy and paste.
I can't remember them.
If you could, that'd be a bit freaky.
Oh, I just
'cause
wanted to get you to talk, that's all.
Okay,
I don't
no,
know
I
the
can't
rates off the top
release
of
them
my head.
because I don't know what they are.
That's something I'll probably have to discuss with Maz about, because it was...
We can release them.
I think if we were to actually sit here and recite them for you, you might find it less convenient than having somebody make a nice, pretty graphic like he's done before for the other ones.
Put a number in the chat and we'll pick one.
They're going to put 11111. That's what they're going to put.
All right.
So yeah,
they are.
we're normally fairly happy to just release rates
After a while.
after a while. Yeah, not soon after release, but there's been a while now.
Yeah.
More than happy to release them.
All right. Next question is from John Willison, says, will Master Clues be a drop from raids?
Undecided at this point.
Seems fitting.
I
Maybe.
think, depending on what we do with the scalability and the rewards, if the rewards are great or the raid that you've got is big enough, we could perhaps put it in as a higher tier.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm a little bit cautious because Master Clues, the way you obtain them, is unique. So I think losing that might not be a good idea. While if it still offers an elite clue, you've got the biggest chunk of getting a Master Clue out of the way already.
I think
But,
the chat's pretty much
I love the
decided on
chat.
that
It's
already.
like 100 no's. There's one guy in the middle says, yes, good idea.
But yeah,
Right.
drop table for rates completely undecided, obviously, apart from even the uniques. There will be a dev blog in the not too distant future addressing the feedback from the beta and offering the armor sets as well.
Soon. TM.
All right.
That.
Chathead says, can you add dust and mist battle stabs into the game?
What was the one we wanted to put on water fiends?
It must have been missed, right?
That
'Cause
sounds
it's
about
got to
right.
be one of these two, because
Yes.
we've got the others.
They're the only two that's missing from the game, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we got mud, we got lava, we got steam from God Wars. We did a smoke one because the artist actually improved its model after Mod Region I tried.
And
But yeah, water fiends are completely. Water fiends are useless.
They typically come
So I'm
from...
more than happy to.
Actually, no, I was going to say they come from bosses, but that's not true. Could make a dust mist
They're spelling
boss.
wrong question.
What's that?
I don't know why they're spelling wrong question, but
Did I skip a question? I did skip a question.
how did they know you skipped one?
Because
Because
it says
Ronan
on their
put the
screen.
picture on the
Oh,
screen. Ronan,
okay.
blame Ronan, guys. This is
They
Ronan's
get
fault.
augmented reality.
Okay,
Yes,
this is the
that's-
question
I
right
remember.
now.
Did you change the font, Ronan? I swear it's a
We are
different font
using
this week.
improved images. I think they're made
Oh.
by Simon.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Okay, dust and mist battle stabs. I think we like it, but there has to obviously be some context.
Find
there.
the right place for it,
Yeah.
I guess.
I think sticking a mist battle staff on a water fiend is a place to start.
A
Not sure,
dust,
but
a dust devil strikes me as the obvious place, but
it does rather. That or a very dirty floor.
What about the Slayer encounters? If we perhaps use it with
Ooh.
something to do with them.
Like an uncommon
Yeah.
drop from the superior one of those.
I like the idea of having something unique on the superior Slayer mobs. Obviously,
like
they're yet
that.
to be developed.
Well, yeah, we've got a general idea of which monsters we want to use, but we can add a couple of monsters for those specific drops if we wanted to, that make the drop relevant to the monster.
And if it's worth it for a thing like this, then maybe water fiends will become nice.
Ooh, they like the idea. Good one.
There you
Good.
go, we'll go with that.
Good boy,
One
Modro.
Twitch chat. All right. Let's go back to that question I missed then. Boulder Falcon says, can we pull some type of Elven content? Crystal Agility course, maybe? Opening up Priptonus for a non-OP version of the city?
So we've talked about agility courses plenty. That we've sort of rammed the game full. Now I think we do have room for something at the top that doesn't offer grace, but offers slightly better XP than currently offered. We talked about possibly doing for Castle Dracan. Maybe it could be a crystal themed one. I don't know where you'd put it, apart from obviously in Thriftiness if we did Thriftiness.
I think the concern here is maybe finish up with Zeah before going back to that stuff, but I don't know which takes priority in their eyes.
The risk of doing an Elf City update is that it will not be the thriftiness that RS3 gave them, and won't give, necessarily the same XP rates as RS3's thriftiness. In fact, I think we can be pretty sure it won't. So, would it just be seen as a kind of naff thriftiness?
Yeah, that's the difficult.
If we do something that RS3's done, or they do something we've done, then inherently the instinct is to compare, even if the games are so separate and don't have that much overlap between the communities anymore. And it's kind of setting ourselves up to have a naff update just because it wasn't the same. So we're cautious about what we put there.
We also have to think about the lore, because we're in a different age to them, so we would need almost an earlier version of what they've got.
I mean, you've got a camera all to yourself.
Well, you know how thriftiness, according to the lore at our era, was reverted to seed, and the player had to get it unreverted from seed, I guess.
So we could go visit Thriftiness. It'd just be a giant seed.
Well, one of the things that I pitched some time back was the idea that you go into that...
Hello.
that you go into that seed and you end up inside the city while it's reverted to seed, which means that physics and space are not as they ought to be, which sounds like a marvellous place to have an agility obstacle course of some sort, a land where time and space are all messed up.
See, we complain saying there's already too many agility courses, but I think the more the merrier. I like that sort of variety, doing...
Sure, it's one skill where you really do one variety.
No, doing so many repetitive courses or laps on a course, you kind of want to go to the next one after so many levels and not have to stay at one for 20 levels.
I like the idea we just open the Thriftiness gates and you go in, there's a little farming patch in the middle with Thriftiness seed growing in it.
I don't know about you guys, but I also don't like the Ardoin one. It's kind of ugly, and it's got far too many places where we couldn't let you just stop there, so we had to kind of automate the jump from one thing to another.
Yeah.
It's also only circulated around the market, isn't it, where you've got that giant city, but...
Yeah, I mean, fair's to, Modreach writing it, I don't think there's much else he could have done with the buildings as they are and no graphics team. But these days we can do a lot more.
So, I think it's about time to head over to Mod Ghost. Again, guys, he's working on the Infernal Cape. I think we have Inferno in the title. It doesn't really matter, but it's the Infernal Cape to come with the Inferno, I guess. I'll leave him to explain it. Let's go over to him.
Production quality.
Hi, so we pitched Jad2 to you a while ago, and people turned it down because they didn't want expansion to the Fight Cave. So inevitably at some point we're going to have time to do what you did want, which would be something completely separate, which the working title for at the moment is the Inferno. Now what comes with that is an Inferno Cape, which is basically something that you can trade in your Fire Cape for by potentially ripping it up. That's just the idea we're sort of throwing around at the moment. So the main question is, what's that going to look like? My concern is that people don't really want to stray too far from the original design. So throughout the course of this stream, I'm going to get the ball rolling and sort of introduce a few ideas to you about what it could potentially look like. And then through social media over the next few weeks, we can work together to come up with a final design. So this is what I've got so far. I've tried to keep it just as similar to the original as we can, and then just add in some really basic extra geometry. So I've put in some shoulder pads just here, and some tassel bits at the front, and just a small hem trim down here, so it's not too drastically different. Now, what we're going to do is just straw poll you now to see which one of these elements you'd like removed, if any. So if I've just sent Maz a straw poll just there. Maz, I just thought, is it okay to add a fourth option on there quickly? Absolutely. Is it okay to say don't remove any parts, because then we can just keep it as it is? So I'll just give you a quick close-up of what we've got. So we've got some shoulder pads here. I've tried to keep the geometry really, really simple, so you can just see there's not really too much going on there at all, because the beauty of the Fire Cape design is its simplicity. We've got some tassels at the front. You can see how the textures work just here. I'm not a big fan of these, but I thought I'd throw it out there anyway, because the texture looks kind of squashed up and horrible. but that's just where textures work, unfortunately. And then I've just created a small tracing of the natural shape of the hemline down the bottom just here as well. I kind of like that feature, but it's up to you guys what you fancy. So we'll just put the straw poll up now, and then when I read the results, I'll start adjusting this a little bit, and we'll see what we come up in the next 15 minutes. Thank you.
Do we clap? We clap. Why not? I like it. I like it a lot. I would like to see it stay like that personally. Me and Mod Ghost have been kind of designing that, and we're going to be doing the Infernal actually presentation at RuneFest. So we're eager to take a lot of feedback in terms of that. That's obviously the main reward to come. So it's important you guys like it. So do give him your feedback in the chat and in the straw poll right now, and we'll be cutting over to him every 15 minutes or so.
So what was the reason of editing the existing fire cape as opposed to producing a new style of cape for the Inferno?
The fire cape's really, I think, the only animated item in our game. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. It's obviously unique.
Certainly unique in terms of having an animated texture like that, because we had to program some special stuff to happen when you go through a fairy ring wearing it, because it doesn't do transparency animations on moving textures.
Right. It's obviously very unique, and it's held the test of time for how many years now, right? It represents what used to be an incredibly difficult challenge, now is laughable for some. So we'd like to recreate that, but we'll leave that for the RuneFest presentation.
It is the iconic cape, and if something else that looks quite different becomes the best cape, I think you're in a situation where people look at it and it's just you've lost the iconic item that everyone associates with RuneScape.
I bet we could just make the lava flow the other way.
I said that. Another thing is obviously we don't want to have it look or comparable to the cape, the kiln cape, rhino cape, whatever you want to call it.
Rhino
I
cape,
like the rhino cape.
Yeah.
The rhino cape was the original
I thought it
model
looked
they
awesome
released,
too, but
where
we don't want to do
it was
that.
just a solid black obsidian cape with the layers, and everyone was no one liked it, and they wanted flowing lava down the middle and stuff. But the rhino cape looked awesome. It's like you'd ripped off the tail of one of those creatures and put it on your back.
Okay, anyways, so let's head to the next question. Carry on. One Lucky says, when can we expect to see spec transferring in player versus player worlds fixed? Mod Ronan, do you want me to say soon? I think he agrees with me saying soon.
I think it's something that should be changed. If we've changed it in the wilderness because it's a problem, then it only makes sense that we mimic that in PvP worlds.
Right.
To be honest, I think it just was like that when we launched Old School in the wilderness, without us necessarily going in there at all.
Okay.
But sure, we can do this.
I think when it's seen as a problem, which this definitely is, we can definitely.
So
go into
essentially,
shooting
when you're in single combat in
if
PvP
somebody
worlds,
has
they should
accept
not
date
be-
on, they can spec transfer and make the guy basically invincible and beastly.
May as well extend that to minigames in general, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't think it's used so much. It takes some coordination, and I'm not going to say skill, but
Well, I don't think it's used so much. If we having, I mean, this problem presumably arises because what was done for the wilderness was not done generally for PvP places. It was done for just the wilderness, and players would like it to have been done for other PvP places as well. Hence the request. So to be kind of more future-proof, and rather than having to come back and treat it as a fix for every other PvP area where it turns out to be necessary, we might want to just cover them properly.
okay. Can do. The answer to the question is though, yes, we're looking to change that very soon. So, moving on. Starbucks says, will Mod Ghost and Mod West ever be doing another extended live stream where we see them create content? I thoroughly enjoyed the previous one.
Yes, we would like to do one in future, but it's just finding things that are relevant. So we've pretty much wrapped up all the raids bosses I should think we'll have time for. So if we design something in future, it'd likely be maybe some armors, because we've got some armors that we're going to provide to the community. So if we get some designs in, then potentially we could do something for that and design like a full player kit for us. So if one of us takes a player kit on the stream, that could take about 8 hours, but it really has to be something that keeps people's attention. So it's kind of up in the air whether or not we'd be able to find something that would be as successful as the previous stream. But yes, we would definitely like to do some.
Paul just messed up the PogChamp so badly. Right, so that's exciting. The feedback for that stream, sorry, just saying, the feedback for that stream was overwhelmingly positive. I was actually quite surprised. Like, a lot of people were able to sit there for the entire duration. It was like close to 8 hours, including our Q&A in there. So, really awesome. I've never done anything like that. As you were saying? Sorry?
Oh, I was just wondering if we'd seen the results of that straw poll.
Is that just kept to Mod Ghost size, or? Oh, there we go. A lot of nothing, it's fine as it is. Nice, that's
And
good.
Not everyone likes tassels. Okay.
Straw Paws updated his interface.
We're really fortunate we can get away with doing stuff like this. So, be interested to see what it looks like at the end of the stream. Moving on. Follow up to that actually. What about a similar content creation stream from Ash?
It looks like a guy typing.
They
8
always
hours
ask
of Mod
for
Ash
this.
typing. I don't know.
Yeah, just
But every time
I'm
we make a change,
entertained.
we've got to submit the change, just pack it, and it's not like we can just live hotfix it to our stream and show off exactly what we're doing.
They're probably hoping just a time lapse of me drinking more and more tea.
well, if someone oddshots what Ash just did and then extends it to an 8-hour video on YouTube, we're done.
I was kind of supplying the assets for that purpose.
All right, moving on. Lord Gozer says, can you add a counter to the music tab to show how many songs we have unlocked and how many remain?
Should be easy enough. After all, it's going through them already, doing the colours.
Yeah, I think that seems like a nice addition, especially for the music cape. You got to scroll down that whole thing looking for a red one.
Yes.
All right. Twan says, why do you only need 1 kill count for boss display? It should be higher than 100.
So we've discussed this one, and we could go back and forth on it quite a lot, but ultimately, in RuneScape, the challenge of achieving something is normally to have done it, not to have done it n times. If you've got to, complete a quest to unlock a reward, you have to do the quest once. If you got lucky and the boss didn't happen to hit you very hard when you did the quest, well, that's your luck, and you got it. We don't make you, have to defeat the quest boss 5 times or 500 times or 5,000 times before we consider you to be truly worthy of the quest rewards. So, no, you have to show that you can at least have got that drop yourself legitimately, but we're not trying to turn it into a certain threshold of grinding.
You also have the ability to view the player's kill count as well in the same room, so you can see that someone's killed it. If you're really curious as to how much they've killed it, just go check the logs.
The chat made a good point. Some of those are a little bit more difficult to kill than others.
I think it would also
100
be
would
very
tough.
unfair if someone got lucky enough, if gone and killed Skatizo for the first time and got the jar first time, really excited. Nope, you can't put that in
Kill it
because you need to kill him
99 times,
99
yeah.
more times.
Yes, then we'll believe you're worthy to put that jar in that box.
That
Yeah,
jar
the thing
you
is,
just earned, you can't use it yet.
The thing is, what number do you go for? Because
Yeah,
all the bosses
exactly.
are different. Some of them are limited how often you can kill them, some of them are Slayer task only, some of them are you can grind on all day, some of them you need a team. So, yeah, I mean, I sort of wish the jars were untradeable. But
Yeah, we all wish that. Unfortunately, by the time the first one came out and we found it was tradable, it was a bit too late to do anything about it because it was already being traded, of course. And the others we made consistent with it. Otherwise, there'd just be one tradable jar of dirt and all the other ones would be untradable.
even the Jar of Darkness is what, 1 in 2,500? 2,500 kills of that? Whew.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
There's a follow-up.
There's a
saying-
reason it's so valuable.
I think at the moment, before the update went out today, the Jar of Darkness was priced at about 170 million.
Wow.
Wow.
We managed to make a jar worth something.
So speaking of construction, follow-up question: why can't we sit on the benches?
What I can do after the stream is tweet out a picture of why you can't sit on 2 of the benches.
It does not look good.
Because of how they look, it's a case of...
Can you replicate it?
Well, I'd have to kind
That's what I'm
of
saying.
make my
We'd
neck...
have to ruin
if
the
you do
chair.
it on this chair, it would be interesting.
I'd kind of have to make my neck disappear and then do part of Ash's arm thing and...
Yeah, if you kind of bury yourself in cushions, you might get the idea. But No. Although Mod West spent quite a long time trying to adapt the bench models to keep the geometry and still let you sit on them, ultimately there's just too much topology there for the render orders to be able to stick underneath where a player has to sit. And you end up with either the bench renders through you or you render through the bench, and we could not make it merge well.
We tried to do as much as we could with it. We just looked at the end, but we liked the look of the benches, the fact that they work with different things. But unfortunately, we couldn't just put enough in for the players to sit on them.
Cool, you get a close-up all by yourself.
My own very own close-up. Thanks, Ronan.
He's special. I don't want to interrupt. I want to let him have his spotlight.
You should lean into it next time.
Please don't.
So speaking of construction, we released a pretty massive update. I think some well-dones are in favor here. Why not?
That was...
Glad you like it.
Kind of a big update.
The menu is amazing.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly positive sentiment. I haven't seen any complaints yet. Have you gotten many suggestions saying change this?
We've had a couple of things come through. We did make...
Like that jar one.
Yeah, we did make one or two small tweaks this morning, mainly from the feedback that we got from last night's stream.
That's why it doesn't use an anti-venom plus, for example.
Yeah, we switched it from an anti-venom plus to an anti-venom, and also implemented a delay if you were in combat to avoid any abuse in terms of in a PvP world. I think at the end of the stream I basically showed the fact that you can spec, get your spec back, get your spec back immediately. So we had to change that. Other than that, all the feedback we've had has been incredible. The amount of players that we've had playing the content, people have built lots of stuff.
How many players have put the 100 mil on there?
Yeah, I had a look before we come down. In terms of the 100 million coins, we have had 3 of them so far. So in terms of cost, that is the same as the equivalent of 3,000 competitive last man standing games. So yeah, I'd like to see more of them in game. I haven't actually seen any of them in anyone's house, but
Tweet
at some point, do tweet pictures to us. I'm really interested to see what you guys have come out with in terms of efficiency for the houses and everything else.
I could have so many other things you could spend 100 mil on. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love the fact now when you start your construction for the first time, you don't have to think, I've got to plan this whole house out right now, because if I start building rooms, I can't move them later. I've got to get the positions right first go.
Yeah, it's like playing Sim Tower.
It's truly customizable now, and the fact you can just say, I've got the room built, let's put it here, 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 and you've got a perfect house set up with
one of the issues
effort.
I would like to address that people have come back with is that depending on which way your room is orientated for the achievement gallery, the achievement capes look odd, to say the least. Basically, it's the way that the lighting happens in the house. We did have a look, and we got Mod West to have a look at it, and basically what's happened is we can't change that, unfortunately. So if you don't like how the cape looks, rotate the room.
Nothing's muted. You can't Reddit us.
Unfortunately, if you if we go and change the model to make it brighter, then it's going to look silly for people who've got their room the other way around. So there's not really a good balance for this one, and we're not going to be able to have it swap in different models based on which way around your room is pointing at a given time, I'm afraid.
And we also can't give you a second room for that, so you couldn't have one cape one way around, one cape the other way around, if you felt like it, or having two stashes of 100 mil coins.
We could bring back that bug where half the capes were facing the other way. Of course, then they'd have the same problem on the other side.
But you wouldn't be able to see it because the cape was up against a wall.
Yes.
Mod Ghost, how are you looking over there? Do you want another few minutes, or?
I can show you the cape now, actually.
Sure, let's head back over then.
I'm not too sure about how, thinking of the straw poll, so we'll probably... Are we over at me yet?
Yeah.
So, bro. Okay, I'm not too sure about how to phrase the next straw poll, so we'll just see how it goes. So people asked, mainly if we show the results from the last one. Can we see them on screen?
We can't show them.
Sorry, okay, fair enough. I can read them out though. What did we get in the end, if I just look up there? So 32% of people wanted the tassels to be removed. 37% of people said that nothing should be removed and it's fine as it is. 19% they wanted the shoulder pads to be removed, and 11% wanted the hem to be removed. So probably the one that people want to be removed the least would be the hem, followed by shoulder pads, followed by tassels. So what I've done here is I removed the tassels from all of these, And I've also, because a few people wanted the shoulder pads to be reduced as well, removed rather, I've just reduced their scale down a bit. So if you kind of see the ones from the previous model just here, they're quite large and they stick out a lot. And these ones are a bit smaller. So it's just kind of getting used to this feedback process with the community that we're kind of practicing here. We're not really going to get a final result at the end of the stream. The chat was asking for the inside of the cape to be turned back to red, so there's the option just there of a red interior on the cape compared to a black one, and also experimenting with the colour of the cape. So this is an old texture that we had kicking around in the archive of what the fire cape would look like if it was turned red. I think that looks a bit messy, to be honest. I'm not really a fan of it, but it just could, yeah, absolutely. I'm not a fan at all, but I thought I'd throw it out there. So if we were going to change the colour at all, I think we'd perhaps make it look a lot more hotter. I could post something. Unfortunately, my Photoshop isn't working at the moment, so I can't really run something up for you today. But I can post something on Twitter tomorrow, so we can throw a few more ideas out there as well. So for the straw poll, I think this time I would like to ask which element should be reverted. Should we change the colour back to orange? Should we change the lining back to black? Or should we expand the shoulder pads back out? So after this stream as well, if you want to make your own designs and post them on Reddit, start a dialogue, perhaps say you don't even want this new cape. It's just important that we kind of know exactly what you want for this update so that we give you the product that you want the most. So we'll send you back over to the guys now and I'll react to that straw poll as it gets going.
No, wrong button.
Flame right in. All right. I like the red one. I don't know. The chat really liked the red one
I
too.
like the red one.
I'd like to see a purple.
Everyone but Mod Ghost liked the red one.
Purple one might be
No,
nice.
don't get me wrong. It's not that I dislike the idea of having a red one. I just don't like that particular texture because you can see there's pink areas on it and all sorts. So
Well, the guy who saved out that red texture was not an artist.
no, I was going to stay away from that. But yeah, let's go there. He wasn't an artist, was he? No. So I think we can make it look a lot better, you know, kind of like really red hot coals and add some yellows back in and some oranges and just make it look a lot more heated and vibrant. But that looks like strawberry jam to me.
Strawberry
yeah,
Strawberry jam
strawberry
cake.
jam.
Maybe we could
I
dig
like
out that cherry blossom texture you guys made recently and have a kind of cherry blossom fall.
It would be beautiful, but I don't think it would match the area.
Okay.
I really like the Czar ground. It's like black with the red lines.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll be touching upon that in the design at RuneFest for
Right.
the area in general and exploring that a bit more.
Cool. They've got the results there. So which element should be reverted? Color back to orange. Oh, okay. Not so many people like red. Never mind. The back going back to black. People prefer the black. Is that right? The black inside interior.
Yeah.
Expand shoulder pads a little bit. It's difficult because there aren't really too many options.
Yeah,
so
I
maybe
know.
you want to vote for keep it, but there isn't one.
I would have been able to design a brand new lava cape texture. My Photoshop keeps crashing every time I attempt to
Right.
play with the saturation on
Well,
the
we
cape.
don't need it done by the end of the stream.
No,
so
it's fine.
By all means. I imagine you'll be tweeting updates after this anyways.
Yes,
so.
I will.
Cool. Let's go on to the next question then. Misery says, upon completion of the Shilo Village quest, can you make it so there is a right-click jump option so you automatically jump over the car entering the village?
Didn't you do something like that?
Was it
Can you
Maz?
speak to
Did
that?
Maz do something
I
like
can
that?
freak now.
People are
Yes,
still
when
complaining
you've
about it.
completed the quest, it changes to a left-click jump over option. You have to complete the quest, but
There's quite a few people
Is that-
asking this, so that's surprising.
have they completed the quest?
There is a distinction between getting access to the village for the first time, I think, and having done everything on the Master Quest variable.
That's more than likely.
They have to have properly completed the entire quest to have the left click.
There you go. You want this right? Complete the quest. OSRS says, can we see games room tables added to the Grand Exchange?
People can play. Is it RuneLink or
Yeah.
well?
Where?
Anywhere.
I mean-
surrounding the Grand Exchange, a
We
little
can
bit
move
to the
that
left.
tree with the face on it. They don't need that.
I think it'd be a really cool idea. personally.
I think people would use them. I mean, people definitely would use them. People chill out at the G all the time.
Nobody goes
and
to the
because
games
the games
room.
room is so out of the way, no one does go there, but there's people at the G and people will sit and play them.
Ever since we moved the teleport out of the games room to the ground, the top level of the ground, then does anyone ever go down there anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know how straightforward it'll be.
On the roof. That is such a cool idea.
Oh, I like that.
So we can put a Grand Exchange agility course, and you have to go through the agility course to play the mini games.
Don't know about
Does that
agility
not
courses.
have everything they wanted?
I was thinking about a ladder, but okay.
We use the roof as G about hiding spots.
We'll have to carry on with that wizard's tower.
Okay. Ladder and what are they called? RuneLink? And is there anything else, or is it just that?
Has anyone else seen the code to the board game tables?
I have.
Yeah. I thought
I can imagine. I ain't seen it.
I think Maz just cried inside a little bit.
that's outside.
Is this the game logic you're discussing, or the challenge
just,
logic?
The game logic, really. The challenge logic's actually all right, but
Well, I mean, the game logic doesn't have to change.
no, I'm just the thing about where it knows all the tables are. It's a little extreme. I'm sure it'll be fine, but you'll have a fun day if you go in there.
I was going to say, do you want to rewrite some more code?
Yes, he does.
I do want to see these things at the GE, though. I think that's a cool idea.
Will they see them if they're on top of the G?
I don't know. I mean, obviously the whole idea is that it's an active spot where people AFK. Maybe putting them on the roof means it's not right where they're standing.
Maybe if we put some more GE merchants on top of it.
Yeah.
Make
If essentially you have
A two-story
Oh.
GE.
another set of booths just at the top with this
The
long
grander
cylindrical pillar that goes up.
The Grander Exchange.
Yeah.
I like it. I really like this idea.
What is that we put in some elf city?
All right, let's go to the next question. Hope Not Mate says, how similar will raids be to Dungeoneering?
There's quite a lot of gameplay we like from Dungeoneering, but there's also a lot that is not strictly necessary, such as recreating every single skill with the sheer amount of content there, all with animated locations. We're not offering anything quite that extreme in terms of how much content and graphics it's got in it. Also, the whole 5-party system, teams of 5, we're not trying to copy that at all. You will go with your chat channel and take as many people in as you like, and when you've gone in there and the party's begun, then your chat channel can recruit an entirely separate raiding party and have another raid going on in the same chat channel if they like. The rule is only one can recruit at a time, but they can all raid simultaneously. We're not looking to have a fiddly menu where you have to, choose a level, choose a multiplier. Then you have to do it again to get the maximum multipliers, and then you have to prestige it again to keep doing it and find people who want to go on the exact same floor that you want. It seems perhaps unnecessary. So we are looking more at having just a dungeon where you go in it and you get stuff and you fight it and you get stuff at the end.
I think it's just some of the elements of Dungeoneering just happen to cross over with what raiding dungeons are. So, and it does work. A lot of the elements of Dungeoneering I really did enjoy. This is quite different. You take your own gear in. It's not about setting up and all that.
It's not about trying to be a completely separate world away from the rest of RuneScape and pretending the rest of the game isn't even there practically.
Well, it's not a mini game.
It's not a skill. Ours is not trying to be a skill at all.
Okay, let's go to the next question. GG Rangers says, can we get a jar of fire from the KBD? I would love to see a KBD display in my house. That being said, there's also a request for a jar of smoke, Smoke Devil, and jar of lava came up from Jad.
Oh, and a jar of mud for the mole.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to do jars for all the
Jarscape.
bosses. But unfortunately, now the overheads of adding a jar has skyrocketed.
The topiary at least is cheap, but the lair is not so
The
straightforward.
topiary does use the jar? Or is it just the...
No, topiary is just there. You've got the kill count.
Have
Yeah.
to be, but I think if we added more jars, people would expect display cases now.
Right.
Yeah, previously the jars would do on like the day before release, and then go and add some Easter eggs to the jar as well, very quickly. Now obviously we need a full display.
I want all the God Wars bosses. I want the Wilderness bosses to have jars.
Could we get something
everything.
like in Fallout where you collect all the bobbleheads, you get a stand to put all the different bobbleheads on? Eventually get a stand that puts all the different jars on.
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh dear.
Don't do that. Ash did that to me last night while I was in the stream.
I just PM'd his account that he was demoing on and just said Jar Jar Banks for no particular reason when he was showing off the jar storage.
Realistically, with the jar expansion, do you see this as something you'd like to do?
It's definitely. I think people don't really have. You go to the bosses, that's it. But with the boss log that we now have, you can show that. And if we've got some for some, I would like eventually to have some for everything, for
Sure.
well, in all terms of all the bosses.
Kind of fun
So you could have a
thinking of
little
names.
mini Grad or a little mini Bandos other than the pet in your house.
Like Kieran said, the jars themselves don't take any time to add. It would just be the art for each display case that might take a bit more time. So as and when the artist can do it,
Well, I'm curious if that code is something then that something I might be able to learn and look into as part of if I ever do get some free time
Well,
to
adding
start
jar
learning
drops.
coding. Well, I can add the drops, but then
Ah.
it's just a case of having a look at the code on how it works and then.
I'll have to stick him in a POH. You won't have any trouble with that. I wrote it fairly easy to expand.
But that is definitely something I can look into in my free time if I ever get any.
Yeah, I think getting hold of the assets for the display would be the main challenge. Topiaries are easier. I wrote them separate so that if for whatever reason there was a creature where we wanted a topiary but weren't able to do a jar, or didn't want to do a jar, or deemed the jar to be unfitting for that kind of boss, then we can still have a topiary for it.
I really like the topiaries. There's a little odd on the Tazar style flooring though. But
Especially where Zulra goes through it.
Just having a plant on a fire lava ground.
Well, you have
Great.
to water the ground in order to get the lava, so.
Well, how do you make lava on your floor?
Let's go to the next question. Univeral says, can Last Man Standing have an option within entering saying, World 21, have X space available for game to start? That's copy and pasted. So what I've gathered from that is he would like some way of broadcasting to the players outside of the lobby, a game is close to starting, or we need X players to start, quick, get in, and that'll help kind of make things more active.
Sounds like he's
Do you
talking
think
about
I'm wrong
it when
by
it's
saying
not
that?
on that world
We
at
have,
all.
we have Lisa already saying that we need more people.
Yeah, is not the player asking for it to be visible before you hop to that world?
Does anybody go there in other worlds? That's
Well,
my question.
that's why they'd like us to display it somewhere else, perhaps.
Like,
it sounds to me like they want it in the other world so they can say, oh, we're nearly there in this world.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, so the world switcher interface, for example, along with the theme in the tooltip, it also says how many people were in the lobby on that world, which is not straightforward.
I like my idea more. Sorry.
Okay, let's do that.
I mean, when Lisa says we need more people, I'm sure Lisa could also say we need 3 more people.
If Lisa said we need 5 more people to start a game, and I'm standing outside kind of AFKing, I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm getting in there quick." It'd just be nice.
We could
And that
perhaps-
seems like a reasonable addition in itself.
Lisa is the NPC of Last Minute Saying for those asking. Okay. Next question. Lord Gozer says, following the group vengeance spell suggestion from raids, what about a high-level healing spell that heals you for 50% of your current special attack energy? For example, 80% special attack would heal you 40 health.
maybe.
Yes, that answered.
That's a great answer.
There we go.
I think we were waiting for the chat there. They caught up. They
I
said
do
no.
want to do group
We
vengeance
totally-
though. Group vengeance is awesome.
I think it's a fair trade, to be honest. I don't know how viable special attack's going to be in raids. Maybe vary for certain weapons. And to sacrifice that for some health, you know, that's an interesting idea. Give him that. All right. Bosnian says, please increase the size of ancient shards when dropped on the ground. It's very hard to notice them.
I think I've definitely had 1 or 2 people ask that same question for quite a while. I think something like that obviously is plausible, but if we're going to do that, I think we would perhaps have a look at the drop rates as well at the same time, because I know we get quite a few
No,
questions
we want to
about
do that
those,
as well, definitely.
about the totem rates and the shard rates, because the Arclight's a very viable weapon for things like Zami and Sire and stuff like that, so people want to use it more.
Sure. Barry says, is it possible to set herb boxes to auto buy provided you have the points?
Auto buy?
I would love an option to just buy as many as you possibly can option. That should be the actual text.
So
buy
like
as many
when
as
you
you
log
possibly
on-
can, and they all go to your bank. And you don't have to stand there and buy 20 and then run to the bank.
So when you mean you log on each day, and you buy them for logging on that day, and you buy your cap if you got the points, or
I don't know. I think he's just asking for
Or
an
you
easier
go
way
to
to
the-
get these.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if people are complaining about the shop in Garamja, and we're saying that the battle staffs are introducing a lot, if people have an automatic way to get herb boxes every day, that's just going to do exactly the same thing.
People saying lazy. I agree. All right.
What's
We'll
the
make
cap?
it cost a little bit more.
Isn't the cap 15 per day anyway, so you can only get one invent
That's a
and then
good
run
point,
to the
yeah.
bank, so...
So something to do that automatically is, I suppose, the request there.
Probably ask for a contact NPC spell thing so they can ask Dominic Onion to send some boxes of herbs to their bank or something.
I would use it.
I'm
Just
sure
saying.
you would.
well, I mean, Bert and his sand, he is very determined to deliver sand to everyone. So
Yeah, but his dialogue is worth it. Man.
All right. Iron Fuzzy says, can we get some data on how many jars were used today? Do we have that?
No, because they're basically, you can put them, take them in and out. If we were counting every time they were put in, we would have a number that wouldn't be true.
Right.
The only thing we've got tracking that we can easily visibly see is the cash stacks. How many of those are built?
And that's 3 of those.
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
data we can get is how many jars are in the game.
And
I
this
mean-
will count against it. So if there's been a massive decrease in the number of jars in the game today, then that is actually a measure of either how many people have alked them or dropped them or thrown them away, or how many people who have put them in a costume room effective thing.
Okay. Andre says, when can we expect to see the new skilling pets come out?
I believe we are aiming for next update, as long as it passes testing. So
No pressure.
you two,
Follow up to
but they are
that.
done otherwise.
What about the Wintertodt?
The Wintertodt is currently in development, and it'll be the next major release after Skilling Pets. Maybe not the week after, but the next major update.
That's around about RuneFest, maybe.
Yeah, if
But
John was
basically
here,
when it's done.
Yeah.
if John was here, it would be soon. TM.
It is like an ASAP thing.
Okay. So we don't have a ton of time left. I'm just going to kind of jump through a couple of these questions. Then we've got a couple suggestions. Then we'll head back over to Mod Ghost, maybe. Yes, we will do that. Okay. Goku says, who has the most exciting RuneFest presentation this year?
I would say Ash.
I would say Matt, he has data. Lots of data.
Me and Mod Ghost
We've
are
got a
doing
whole
the
section.
Inferno. It is awesome.
You would say
I'm
that.
go-
you're
I'm
designing-
I am going to say that, yeah.
I want to be a little biased, but I like what I'm going to present, because
good.
the players have no idea.
No, we haven't actually said what we're presenting other than
not sure I
you
know.
saying.
Other than me, just, yeah.
They will find out at
Yeah.
the reveals section on the RuneFest live stream,
But
or
there
at
will be
RuneFest
data.
if they attend.
Well, he's going to reveal something. You don't know what it is, but it'll be very exciting when you get it.
All right. Let's jump through these real quickly then. I think we might have time. Kenpachi says, can we have the ability to track the top 5 placements in Last Man Standing? I spoke to Judd about this. He says it is something we can do now, but that would be way too late, and that wouldn't obviously be able to track the last however many games you've played since today. So say I played like 400 games, it wouldn't track those only from today forward. That would be a problem. The only way to really possibly consider doing this, and this would thereby let you track your profit, obviously, in second place included, is if we did a Last Man Standing seasonal type tournament type thing and gave us a reason to reset the rankings and the high scores, and then from then on we could start tracking the top.
To be
fives
honest, I think
and
it'd be
all that.
reasonable that you start tracking from this point anyway. It would obviously include the past data, but
Yeah, I don't know. It would look a little funny.
I
not
like the
including
idea of
past
perhaps
data.
having a seasonal thing, but then we'd also have to figure out, do we do rewards? Are they going to be cosmetic or not? Because I know we've discussed the capes a few times.
Yep, this is more just for tracking profit per se. But we do have some big stuff coming for Last Man Standing, like customized new maps. We're looking at doing 1 mil buy-in weekend in the near future. We could look at throwing in Dragon Claws. We're not going to do that. Maybe, I don't know.
I want
But
to.
we can do some really fun stuff with it. Is the message there?
I also have the number for how many competitive games have been played, because I was looking at the different stats that we had.
Yep,
Would you like to know? personally?
50,000.
At the moment, it passed 52,000 competitive games this morning.
Yep.
If you worked out a minimum of 100k per game,
So that's the question there. That was my mistake in the beginning when I said that, is I didn't check top fives or second place. Second place gives 500k. Top five gives free entry. So
it works out that I think if we have 52 of those mounted coins made, it's the equivalent of the same amount of money that Last Man Standing has taken out so far.
Yep. Makes sense. All right. Air Altar, will Raids Monsters drops Book of Lore? If not, how will we find out the lore?
John's got some fairly elaborate plans for giving the lore behind that. It's not just in the form of monster drops either. Exactly what he'll be putting together is subject to confirmation, but he's certainly written the lore and has some plans for how you will uncover it as you go.
All right. Let's aim for like yes or no's here. I just want to try to fit in as many as possible. How many raids bosses will there be in total?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Six
my
were made.
favorite moment of a Q&A right there. Do we have a number?
Gareth will.
I believe there's going to be 7 so far, so we've managed to just reach over the halfway mark on what was in the design document, I think. So there was originally going to be 11. We've obviously, we've designed
7
them.
is still tons.
It's still loads, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we'd also prefer to just add more NPCs as opposed to just bosses. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of bleak without any mobs.
Right.
So we're going to focus the rest of our time on that as well.
Awesome. Okay. Again from Air Altar, can anyone use the spirit tree in my house? And what about the fairy ring?
Yes.
Nice. Nisu says, can we get an in-game message whenever the Ring of Wealth has affected a drop?
So I should just clarify on that last one. If they've done the quests that unlock
Okay.
access to fairy rings and spirit trees,
That's what I was
carry on.
wondering.
On this one, it's a matter of where do you want the message to show up, because we don't really have a direct way to actually tell you that the Ring of Wealth has done something. We can give you a message when it has the chance to do something, but that's
quite
just
a
giving you
lot.
a message every single kill, pretty much.
Yeah.
That didn't go down so well when the other RuneScape did it. And I didn't like killing cave horrors after they'd done it, because every single blinking time my Ring of Wealth goes glingle, glingle, glingle.
So-
What's with that?
So, quick example: let's say the Ring of Wealth table has 80 items, all of the even chance of each, and then there's 20 empty slots at the top. Normally, you'd roll out of 100. The Ring of Wealth reduces that roll out of 100 to a roll of 90. So, how do you know it's actually helped? How do you know you wouldn't have got the item anyway? So, you can't
Just
really
assume
know.
it's doing something. Just a tiny bit of something, not much though.
Well,
It's doing more than it used
does
to.
pretty much nothing.
Right.
there's definitely a use to use it now with the fact that it now picks up coins as well while you're slaying and stuff, things
Yeah.
like that. So
With a
It's-
toggle.
All right.
next.
Right, quickly, Dr. Pepper, can we see different tiered ranks in Last Man Standing? I think it goes Novice, Master, Legend, something like that.
something like that.
I'd love
know.
to see some for like 2K, 3K, 4K. If you
I
guys
think-
have any
I'm sure
cool
Jed
titles.
mentioned a while back that he'd like to add more.
Yeah.
We added a few based on the ranks that we thought people would get over time, but because there's been so many games played, and I know
Right.
the top 5, I don't think they've done anything but play Last Man Standing.
Well, the ranks could be something like last person standing, penultimate person standing, anti-penultimate person standing. That would be one way of going
It
about it.
reminds me of the Treasure Trail ranking, because they have rankings associated with them.
Yeah.
And before my update, they had the ranking Master under Elite. And given we were adding Master Clue Scrolls, which are higher than Elite, I sneakily swapped those rankings because otherwise it's a bit awkward. Anyway,
Right, Discord, will we ever see the return of Big Mo?
I'm not sure another month of Big Mo doing what he did last time would go down so well. Now, I don't mind having Big Mo come back and do something else.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we said Big Mo was from Zeah, so
Yeah, the thing is, there is not a single person on Zeah looks anything like Big Mo.
Right, let's just quickly go through a couple of these suggestions, and we will try to be very quick. So, free-to-play Hill Giant boss suggestion. This is a relatively new one. You guys may have seen this.
I
What do
really
you
like
think?
this idea. So, I mean, the idea is you go and you kill hill giants. It's somewhat similar to Skatiza, I guess. And the hill giants have a chance of dropping a key, which unlocks a little extra offshoot of the Edgeville dungeon. You go in there, you fight a higher level hill giant with 1 or 2 boss mechanics.
Mr.
Be accessible in free to play and members, and have a rare chance of dropping the club. But also offer like a rune kite shield, which cannot be obtained from any drops in free to play currently.
It's a cool idea. It's like the first thing we've done for free-to-play, potentially. So.
And it's still an addition for members as well.
Yep.
I think it's a cool piece of content.
All right. Up next, Pulse says Elder Shield, a 2H shield dedicated for tanks. This actually was a couple weeks ago. Didn't have time for it. Anyways, 80 defense, 80 strength requirement, rage reward. Special attack would be slamming the ground, hitting all areas in a large area, kind of like the Dragon Two-Hander. That's all I've got for notes, but there's quite a bit there. And it looks really cool. I don't know where he got that image from.
I do like the idea of having something that is like very directly for tanking. I mean, the current problem is we don't really have anywhere where players would be wanting to use it. I mean, having the option is a good thing though. But like when you tank at Bandos, you still want to be attacking and doing damage because it dies quicker and you end up taking less damage than you would otherwise.
Right. I would be really curious to get a straw poll for this if I can see if Mod Running can get one in there for you guys. So yeah, this is a weapon that's entirely dedicated to tanking. It seems you can actually do a little bit of offensive attacking with it, but you know, it's going to be a tanking shield. And it would be a raids reward, tier 80, mind you, for defense and 80 strength as well. So what do you guys think? Two-handed shield. Get a straw poll in the chat for you guys.
The idea is between the two options you have, one's block and you just stand there. You cannot attack, but
really?
you just spend your whole focus is on
I guess the only attack is the
and
special
you reduce
attack,
the damage you take. The other one is you attack with this 2-hit shield, but obviously it's pretty weak because it's a shield. But you can do a minor amount of damage, but you don't reduce the damage you take by as much.
Okay.
So that were the two options they added.
Yeah, I like that. Right, you guys can vote on that now. In the meantime, we're going to hop to the next suggestion here from Yellow Boxes. Wilderness suggestion, corrupted implings. So there's a few different types here. Rogue impling, molten impling, spectral impling, demonic impling. So these are all ranging in difficulty, and the idea here is that they actually fight back, and you need a certain set of gear to fight these. So rogue, for example, you might just need maybe an MSB dehyde set. Demonic impling, you will need maybe a full inventory of food, and he'll be really tough.
I really like the artwork he's drawn.
Yes.
That's really cool.
What do you guys think? These are obviously hunter, so ranging from 77 to 94 hunter.
The idea
he
of
has
wilderness
here.
only impling has come up a few times. I'm certainly open to that sort of thing.
Yes. The thing is, you just have to make sure that whoever's going into the wilderness to hunt this impling is worth killing if anyone finds them.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
And I guess that's what they're getting at. Because you have to fight these things, you have to take things with you. And
Yeah, exactly. So it would add incentive to the wilderness, or going into the wilderness, I suppose. What do they give?
yeah, that's the debate. I mean, if they don't have a unique loot, obviously we can just give them a fairly solid drop table. But yeah.
Okay.
Plus battle stuff.
Can we straw poll that one too? Is that? Yeah. Onran loves.
I thought you wanted
straw
to
polls.
quick.
What happened to yes, no?
Okay, so we have the results back from the two-handed Elder Shield as a reward. That was at like 65%, so not something too.
I think it'd be more
there.
popular in the future if there were bosses that really suited it a lot more than we have now.
I
Something
did
like
the
that.
pictures.
Yeah, something like that is a little bit more, or a little bit less RuneScape-y, I think. Somebody looks at that, they might not recognize it. Implings obviously fit a bit better, so we'll see the results from this. And just after this, we're heading over to Mod Ghost, where he'll show you his not finalized, but progressed, I guess, Infernal Cape.
That's right, yes.
Any questions left?
Not really, no.
Ooh.
So we got the
Yep,
results here.
back again.
Wilderness Implings, Yi and Na. Very nice. 76% for Yi.
Yeah,
I'm
nah.
cringing. That's interesting. Okay. So that obviously entirely debates on the loot that they drop. Have fun balancing. All right. Let's head over to Mod Ghost then.
Hello. So what we got in the end, after all your feedback, was we reverted the inside of the cape back to black, and I managed to get Photoshop working, so we have something else to show. So that's kind of the player feedback cape just there. I also did a bit of a rework on the texture just here, and I made the metal look like it's been heated up as well, so it's kind of just in this process of being forged. So that's another option as well. So if you just want to take a screenshot, do some paint overs, or completely design your own from scratch, post it on Reddit, get a dialogue going, then hopefully we can produce something that everyone's happy with, or at least the majority are happy with. Thank you very much.
Detected.
Caught in the act.
Okay.
It's all gone wrong.
I don't think they noticed.
Right. So we're going to be looking at Reddit. I imagine there'll be a lot of player submissions there with that cape. Also, tweet at jagex_ghost. Is the correct Twitter handle? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, sure. Let's hope. Aside from that, guys, to announce Golden Gnome Awards, the poll has gone live. You can vote for your favorite streamer and video maker. Really exciting stuff. A lot of those guys will be at RuneFest to accept rewards or awards. That being said, of course, RuneFest tickets are still on sale. Only 2 weeks remain. There's a lot of cool stuff happening there. Mod, sell out, buy one. Cool. Okay, guys. Q&A is over. Thanks for watching.
Quickly, is my mic on?
It is.
Bro, just confirm that cape is not cosmetic. It will have new stats, won't it?
Of course, yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
All right. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.
Goodbye.